There's a place deep in Louisiana where the trees grow too close together, and the air always feels too thick. The locals don't go there at night. They don't even talk about it much. At least not to strangers. If you ask them why, they'll just shake their heads and say something about the Loup Garou. Dante had heard the stories for years. He ran a small shop in New Orleans. Part bookstore, part antique shop, part something else. The kind of place where people came when they had nowhere else to turn. The kind of place where people whispered about things that didn't make sense. One evening, just after closing, a woman came in. She was older, gripping a rosary so tightly her knuckles had turned white. She told Dante her nephew was missing, that he'd gone out near the Bayou with some friends and never came back. "The police won't go near it," she said, her voice shaking. "They say it's cursed, that the Loup Garou took him." Dante didn't believe in werewolves, but he'd seen enough to know that sometimes legends had a way of being real. The Bayou at night. The Bayou at night is different from the daytime. It's not just dark, it's heavy. The air clings to you thick and unmoving. The only sounds are the chirping of insects and the occasional distant splash of something moving through the water. Something big. Dante walked carefully, flashlight in hand, scanning the gnarled roots and hanging moss around him. He wasn't sure what he was looking for, but he had a feeling he'd know when he saw it. Then he heard it, a rustling in the brush. Something or someone was nearby. A man stumbled out of the darkness, his clothes torn, his face pale and covered in scratches. His eyes were wild, darting around like he expected something to lunge at him from the shadows. "Help me!" he gasped. "It's the moon! It's too bright! It's coming!" Before Dante could ask anything, the man collapsed. Dante knelt beside him, checking his pulse. He was alive, but barely. His arm was slashed open, deep claw marks running from his shoulder to his elbow. Dante heard it before he saw it. A growl, low, guttural, and close. He stood up, his grip tightening around the silver knife at his belt. The stories said silver could hurt it. He just hoped the stories were right. The thing in the trees. The air was dead silent. No crickets, no frogs, just the sound of Dante's own breathing. Then, movement. A pair of glowing eyes emerged from the shadows, locked onto him with an unnatural intensity. The thing stepped forward, into the moonlight, and Dante felt his stomach drop. It was huge, lanky, distorted limbs, long claws that scraped against the ground, patches of fur matted with dirt and something darker. Blood. Its snout twitched, teeth glinting as it bared them in a slow, deliberate snarl. Dante barely had time to react before it moved. It lunged. Dante dove to the side, the beast's claws missing him by inches. It landed with a thud, whipping around almost instantly, faster than something that size should be able to move. Dante slashed at it with the silver knife. The blade met flesh, and the creature let out a sharp, pained howl. But it didn't stop. If anything, it just got angrier. It swiped again, catching Dante's chest. The pain was instant, hot and sharp. He stumbled back, blood seeping through his shirt. He wasn't going to win this fight. Not like this. The ritual. Dante reached into his bag, pulling out a small glass vial. Sacred water. Something he'd gotten from an old mystic years ago. He'd never been sure if he believed in its power. But now was the time to find out. He poured it in a circle around himself, whispering the words he'd memorized but never spoken. The water glowed faintly in the moonlight, an eerie, unnatural light. The Loup Garou hesitated. It snarled, pacing the edge of the circle like an animal that had just realized it had walked into a trap. Its body twitched, muscles seizing like something inside of it was fighting to get out. Then, the screaming started. The beast convulsed, its form shifting violently, bones cracking as it fell to the ground. Its limbs shrank, fur receding, claws retracting. The monstrous snout shortened, its snarling teeth disappearing behind human lips. When the screaming stopped, the thing lying in the dirt wasn't a monster anymore. It was just a man. The aftermath. Dante crouched beside him, checking his pulse, weak but alive. The man groaned, eyes fluttering open. He looked confused, dazed. He lifted his hands, human hands now, and stared at them, his expression shifting from fear to disbelief. What happened?" he whispered. Dante exhaled, still gripping his knife, still half expecting the thing to come back. "You were cursed," he said, "but it's over now." The man let out a shaky breath, his eyes welling with something between relief and horror. As Dante helped him to his feet, the first light of dawn crept over the bayou, and the young man who came running out of the woods, it was the elderly woman's nephew. He's back home with his family, safe and sound. The curse had been broken, but Dante knew better than to believe it was gone for good. Because in places like this, some things never really stay dead.